Welcome everyone to another Disney Lorcana chat. Once again, thank you all for choosing to spend your time with me. Today's going to be a special episode. It is going to be my first reaction video. Now, I'm going to be reacting to Nive's Nerd Corner's video about their worst fears about Lorcana. Now, I'm going to do these a bit out of order from the way that Knives presented them. Knives said that their selfish fear is that Lorcana is going to leave their content creators on their own. Basically, just not support the content creators, by giving them anything extra special. Now, myself, coming in as a brand new content creator, I don't even know what that means. I wouldn't know what to expect to get from them, what they could give me that could be helpful. Basically, the content's going to get created. I'm mostly focused on gameplay. So the more, games I can break down and cast and play, the happier I'm going to be. And the more cards I get to see that I can break down and build decks around, then the happier I'm going to be. As far as like content creator support, I don't really know what I would want. There does come a point where, if you're talking about like sneak peeks and early bird information, things of that nature, I guess if they have some kind of content creator program that you can sign up for and get access to that, then I'd be down for it. But if it's kind of a pick and choose program, I don't think I'd be a fan, because then it creates a disparity in information, which is going to simply allow certain content creators a leg up on others, and it's just going to make the playing field even harder for smaller content creators like us to really get a foothold if they're giving all the first edition access to information to all the big name channels that already exist. Well, it's going to be harder for us to pull in content and a community on our own. But I guess that's up to us to do with the quality of our content. So, free market and all that. One thing I would really, really like to participate in that I've seen done in My Hero is some of their content creators who also happen to be really good at the game got the opportunity to, cast or commentate on tournaments, whether they be webcam or in person. And personally, I would really, really like to do that. I very much enjoy casting and commentating. And so that is an opportunity I would jump on if it was presented to content creators. Now, the next fear that Knives discusses is that Ravensburger is going to be wildly underprepared. And so the point that they make in regards to this is in terms of the amount of cards that they're printing, that the print is going to be too small and people aren't going to have access to the cards. And then that is going to drive prices up like crazy, and you won't be able to build decks because they cost too much. To which I say affirmative, but with a slight twist. Because my concern isn't necessarily that the print size is going to be too small, because in my opinion, if anybody can push a supplier to make a rush job and print more cards, it's Disney. So do I fully expect set one, the first edition run, to get bought up like crazy? Absolutely. But I'm hoping that Ravensburger is going to immediately have some sort of unlimited edition shortly after that they can react to how much was bought up and print enough of that to where it's not an issue. Hopefully they print enough of the first edition to where it's not an issue in the first place, but it's a short-term problem. Could it make the launch of the game a little bit bumpy? Yes. Could it set things back? Yes, absolutely. Is it something that can be resolved fairly easily by a company as large as Disney? Yes. My concern, which ends up having the same result, is that they make a poor decision in terms of card availability when it comes down to rarities. And what I mean by that is something along the lines of, Flesh and Blood or Yu-Gi-Oh! Big money cards are the really good cards that you need in your deck. And so decks in those games run in the multiple thousands of dollars for a standard deck, which is a huge barrier to entry and is not something that I want to see. I want everyone to be able to build a deck cheaply and effectively so that more people can be playing the game instead of having to worry about declaring bankruptcy in order to build a deck and to play it. That just doesn't make any sense. No one wants to be forking out that much money. At least not enough people to be able to garner the level of player base that I would like to see, and hopefully they would also like to see. One of the ones that Nive talks about is that they started the hype train far too soon. When it comes to this one I'm going to have to slightly disagree with. In my opinion, the hype train has not even started. The game has simply been announced, and they did so at the most convenient time for them as a company. Now, some people have obviously really jumped onto the hype train, and we've got a bunch of us out here, starting up YouTube channels just about this game that we know almost nothing about. But at the same time, there's tons of people that still have no idea that this game even exists. And I promise you that anybody in the TCG space is going to know about this game before it drops, before it launches. I've had a couple of friends that are super into various other trading card games that I asked them about how they felt about Lorcana. They had no idea what I was talking about. This one, I'm not so worried about. The hype train is coming, hasn't even gotten on the rails yet. But when it does, it is going to be loud for sure. Now, the biggest fear for myself I share with Knives, and that is that the gameplay just isn't good. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a huge Disney person either. I enjoy the IP, it's what got me interested in the game. It's what got me excited, along with the beautiful, beautiful cards. But at the end of the day, I am a player. I am not a collector. So there's two things that need to be in place in order for me to consider this game successful. It needs to have good gameplay. The gameplay might be too simple or too vanilla, meaning that there isn't enough depth to the gameplay and that there isn't enough variety of strategies, and every deck kind of plays the same, just with different skins on it. So those are some big concerns of mine, because at the end of the day, what really matters is, are the decks going to be cheap enough, going back to our previous fear, that we can get a variety of people to buy into the game? And is the gameplay good enough to keep people playing? Because that's the only way you're going to be building local metas, and that is all I care about, is can I build enough of a local meta in order to consistently enjoy playing the game with other people? And if the gameplay isn't there, and if the decks are too expensive, and if you can't get your hands on cards, the answer to that's going to be no. All right, I'm off my soapbox. That's my rant. And with that, I'll bid you all adieu. Keep your ink pots full and your glimmers shiny.